3, 4. Partaya Pratibodhita Bhagavatam Narayanena Swayam Vyasena Pratita Puranamina Madhye Mahabharatam Advaitādavaśini Bhagavati Ashtadasadhyayini Ambatvāman Sanghatami Bhagavad Gita Bhavatveshini. I'll start with verse 9. Yeah. 2 minutes.
Isn't it verse 10 and 11?
9.
Assuming a new body.
Yeah. But wait for mother.
Yeah, she has come. Yeah, verse 9.
Om Swamiji.
Welcome.
Assuming a new body, the jiva enjoys the sense objects like before.
Swamiji, this Veda, Shatram Vai Shravanaha Digraja Ritun Karoti, like that we read in Upanishad. Shatram Vai Shravanaha Digraja Ritun Karoti. This part actually explains more about our shraddha to whatever we do. In Surya Namaskar that day, they were emphasizing about that part, and the related sloka which talks about how much shraddha we need and how it is connected to our Atma and Jiva was explained in reference to this chapter and this verse. Previous 3 verses we read, and lot of connections between Surya Namaskar mantra with this particular chapter. I could see a lot of similar explanations being done.
Yeah, basically this is how, like, in the sense, how what is the upadhi? What are the upadhis that are being discussed? Like the upadhi here also, in the next to 16, 17 also, a lot of things about Shraddha will be discussed. What is the Shraddha, Tamasika Shraddha and Rajasika Shraddha? But the Shraddha which is being talked about here is purely a, what do you call, Shraddhavan Labhate Jnanam. In the sense, only with reference to the Shraddha in the, what do you call, the pursuit, in terms of, since you have to move away from the, even the Vidika and Laukika Pratyaya, meaning all your pursuit, assuming that the world which you are dealing with is Vyavaharika Satyam. But here we are talking about a Shraddha in the Vedanta, meaning that the being which is subserved by the Vedika, Laukika, rituals and all pujas and all that, in that you have an understanding in all these 13 chapters, 15 chapters, and 16, 17, what is the Shraddha that is required to acquire this understanding? That is precisely the Shraddha that is being talked about is exclusively for Vedanta understanding.
Okay.
Of course, there is Shraddha required for Iswara Upasana as well as rituals and all that. So Shraddha is a common factor in all that. Plus you have Shraddha. So, but here the Shraddha is much more profound. In terms of Shraddha is understanding. Shraddha is understanding. That Shraddha is only performing the ritual with total fidelity. In the sense, whatever is told, you have to do. and the Shraddha is purely in the Adhishta Palam. In the sense you won't be able to see the Palam as you do it. Here we are talking about a Shraddha which the understanding in terms of as the teacher unfolds, as the Vedanta unfolds, you must be able to see the meaning here and now. Drishtapalam. Here it is Drishtapalam. The Shraddha which we are talking about in Upasana, Surya Namaskar and all are in terms of Adrishtapalam. Of course, Adrishtapalam also helps in terms of Ishvara Anugraha is there, that will keep you in following the Dharma, Chitta Samadhanam will be there. That will help you to further inquire. Okay, I have been living a dharmic life with all that. My mind is not cluttered, peaceful. At that time only this query will come. The query will, in the sense, what it is all about. That will lead you to the right guru. That is why they say that. So the Shraddha in the Upasana and Vaidika rituals and all are also required, but it's a different order. Here the Shraddha which we are talking about here is purely in terms of understanding the what you call Drishtapalam. So that is where the Shraddha is very much in terms of understanding. So in terms of pursuing the what you call the teaching, pursuing the teaching to understand. That is the Shraddha. So Shraddhavan Labhate Jnanam that is being told here is purely in the Shastra, Acharya, Upadesa, was with a prepared mind in the Vedanta Shastra sense. The other Shastra is purely Adhishtapalam. Like just you do. It's even Shraddha, even the what you call that rites of for the elders, even that is called Shraddha actually. It is Shraddha eva Shraddha. That is how it is. The Vipsa. Since it gives importance to the Pitru Karma and all. But there you have to do. Just do. You really don't know exactly whether the Palam goes to the Pitrus or not. But by doing with Shraddha, you what you call, you have that internal composure that I have done whatever I am supposed to do. The duty, the Shraddha, I have done it with Shraddha. So that gives the immediate, that is a prayojanam. Prayojanam is the internal satisfaction. That's what she was telling yesterday.
Yeah.
If I don't do Gita chanting for one day, but as you do Gita chanting, you get this prayojanam. Prayojanam meaning satisfaction. So that is the difference between, whereas here the prayojanam is as you are able to understand it, the understanding is prayojanam here. Whereas in rituals and karma and upasana and the shraddha and everything, the prayojanam is satisfaction. An internal, I wanted to do it, I have done it. So there is no conflict now. I am free of that. I wanted to do it, it's my duty, I have done it. So that is the prayojanam. But the palam, which we are talking about in terms of what I will get, is undetermined. It is not possible to, because that is why it's called adhishtam. Here, the prayojanam, and actually that is why it's only, Shankara talks only about prayojanam. There is no palam for this. That is why here there is only vritti bhakti, there is no pala vyapti. No pala vyapti meaning, palam means always, as I have told you, it is always whatever comes will go. Whereas in this particular case, it is prayojanam because there is no palam. Shastra is only vritti vyapti. The vritti removes your ignorance. Once the ignorance goes, your reality stays with you forever. So it is totally prayojanavat. Shankara in his introduction to Bhashyam of the second chapter, he immediately says the prayojanam of this Shastra is, it's only prayojanam, there is no palam. So that is the beauty. That is that. So your Shraddha should be, once you have this background, your Shraddha is manifold. Because I am going to get whatever I understand, I get it here and now. So the Shraddha will be much more, definitely. So that is how it is being talked about. Shraddha that is being talked about. Because what you say in terms of Surya Namaskar and all that, it is definitely Shraddha is involved. Whatever it is told, you have to do it. There it is actually, the doing is much more important. Because you have to do to the ditto what is told. Every karma, every ritual, you have to do ditto as is told. Otherwise, there will always feel something is less more, something, so what I will, maybe it will not be fruitful. All those doubts will be there. So that is why whatever you know, you do it to the hilt. Very important in upasana and rituals. That is very important. Here it is understanding. You can always question and you can get the clarification from the teacher. That is why it is a dialogue. So Samvada it is. So that is the difference, the Shraddha difference between Karma Upasana and Vedanta. That is the difference.
Shrotram chachusparsanam cha rasanam granameva cha adhishtaya manaschayam vishayanubhasevate. Shrotram diya chakshu, the eye, Sparsanam cha, and the touch. Rasanam, the sense of taste. Granam eva cha, and the sense of smell. Manaha cha, and the mind. Adhishtaya, presiding over.
Adhishtaya.
Presiding over. I am this person. Vishayan, the sense objects. Upashevate, experiences. Presiding over the ear, the eye, and the senses of touch, taste and smell, and the mind, this person Jiva experiences the sense objects. The subject, the conscious being, pervades the sense organs in the situation where a snake is erroneously perceived on a rope. The snake is pervaded by the rope. There is no snake without the rope. The rope is Adhisthana, and there is no reality for the snake, which is Adhyashta on the rope. Similarly, here, the sense organs are pervaded by and presided over by the subject, as eye of the eye, the ear of the ear, and so on. The Adhishtatra is the one.
The what do you call? It's a masculine gender, Adhishtata, who is behind the senses and all that. That is the person, you can say the basic person.
Adhishtatra is the one who is behind all the senses, and he is also the subject presiding over the mind. Who is he? A part of Narayana, who is Jiva, due to ignorance, avidya. Now, in the new form, he enjoys the sense objects exactly as he did before. The truth is, the form is nothing but Parameshvara. He is the agent and the experiencer, but this may or may not be known.
So that is Mamai Vamso Jiva Loke we were telling, no? That Amsa part of it is explaining. Actually there is no Amsa, there is only the being. But if you look at Jiva as separate from Ishvara, you may look at it as a separate person. That due to ignorance. So, but that form also is nothing but Parameshvara. That's what he is trying to say.
Verses 10 and 11. Those who have the eye of wisdom see, but not the deluded. Ukrantamantam sthitam vabhi. Utkramantam sthitam vapi. Punjanam va gunanvitam. Vimudadnanu pashyanti jnana chakshushu.
Chakshusha meaning one who has got the jnana, chakshus meaning one who has got the jnanam, understanding. Yeah.
Utkramantam, the one who is departing from the body, Titam va api, or even remaining in the body, in this body, Guna Anvitam, endowed with gunas, Bunjanam va, or experiencing.
Bunjanam va meaning experiencing, meaning enjoying basically. Bunjanam means generally even for eating, we say bhukte. Bhukte meaning enjoying the food. Here Bunjanam means general experience.
Vimudaha, the deluded, na anupashyanti, do not see, jnana chakshusha, those who have the eye of wisdom, pashyanti, see. The deluded do not see the one who is departing from the body or even remaining in this body, experiencing or endowed with the gunas. Those who have the eye of wisdom see. Na pashyanti means they do not see. And with the prefix anu, na anupashyanti means they do not see in keeping with the shastra as taught by a teacher. Lacking discrimination, they are thus deluded, vimuda, not knowing vimuda, not knowing this jiva is only an amsha, part or Paramatma, of Paramatma. But the word part is used for ease of explanation only because in reality Paramatma cannot be divided. The assumption of Kartravya,
Kartrutva, agency.
Kartritva, the agency by the Paramatma in the form of the Jiva, is only Mithya. In reality, the Jiva has no real existence apart from Paramatma.
We follow that. See what we are now.
Yes, yes.
Follow it properly. 1 minute.
Yeah.
See, we have been seeing from the beginning what is it like the Amsa part of it. So the Amsa, this is only for easy explanation. Bhagavan says, Mamai Vamso Jiva Loke Jiva Bhuta Sanatanaha. From there it all started. Okay. There now he is explaining the Amsa is like the space, in the sense every Jiva, the same being, the Paramatma, is in the a single body. So that is why it is referred to as Amsa. And what happens because of the lack of understanding that it is Paramatma, we assume as ourselves as in body separate from Vishra, and because of that lack of understanding, we do a lot of karma, and the karma has got a palam, and because of the palam, we keep reborn. We keep taking birth again and again. But the whole thing is what they call is avidya, karya avidya, meaning because of avidya, you assume to be separate from Vishra, and because of that, you do a lot of karma. Because of that lot of karma, there again avidya, because you think you are separate from others, you do pava and punya and all that. So again, that karma adds on to your earlier karma, and birth is being taken. This continues. But it's called avidya, karya avidya. First basic avidya, that you are separate from Ishvara, and that the Atma, that is you, is separate from Paramatma, whereas the reality is both are one and the same. Atma cannot be two because it is a conscious being, which we have been discussing. It is Desa Kala Vastu Aparichinnam, meaning timeless, spaceless, objectless being can be only one. It cannot be two because it is not a thing. It is a being. So that having not known, because of the avidya only, we are taking birth as Amsa, as if Amsa Iva Amsa. And then this continues. That is what he is saying, that what happens. If we look at it that way, what happens. That's what he is continuing to discuss now. At some point in time, he will say, now the whole thing is he started telling, the whole thing is because we are not seeing, we are not having the jnana chakshus. Jnana chakshus, we are not understood. Once you have that understanding, that the separation from Ishvara will not be there, your Atma is Paramatma. That's what he is now trying to tell. Yeah.
The point here is that death does not solve the problem of being a jiva. There is a common misconception that moksha follows the release from the physical body. The Gita denies this. If we are living in this body,
1 minute, 1 minute, just a minute.
If while living in this body, he does not see that he is Paramatma, he will give up this body only to assume another. Though it is Paramatma that is seemingly enjoying all the sense objects and endued with Sukha Dukkha, Raga Dvesha, and so on, they do not see him. Shankara says that this Atma, who is available for easy comprehension, being self-evident behind every sense organ and the mind, is not seen only due to delusion in the form of lack of discrimination. The lack of capacity to discriminate is due to the sheer strength of the love for seen and unseen enjoyments. We say such a person is deluded because he does not recognize what is self-evident and so easily available. While every human being has pain and the desire for a solution for it, not everyone finds a solution. The human form is adequate for moksha because it has pain and the capacity to discriminate. Everybody knows the problem, but sufficient discrimination does not arise to solve it because they are completely possessed by the things they want to accomplish now and later. Among them are included those who want to go to heaven. We say they are completely deluded because all these things are decoys. Even though
Decoys meaning they just deceive us. They take us away from the reality.
Mithya,
Yeah, basically, yes.
even though they took a human form and came here for a purpose which only human form can accomplish, they are waylaid by the dacoits of binding likes and dislikes, raga dvesha. Not a lot for this jiva. He is Paramatma and can enjoy the freedom that is his nature, but he waits for the benevolent hands of chance to shape a few moments of happiness for him. On the other hand, there are those who do see the nature of themselves clearly. How? Through the eye of wisdom, jnana chakshush. Those who have knowledge, born of Vedanta Pramana, have a clear vision of Atma and Anatma. They know the agent, Karta, is nothing but Paramatma, they alone see. First, by discriminating between the seer and the seen, everything that can be objectified is determined as not I. In the thought forms of agent, Karta and Enjoyer, Bhokta, the sense of I is superimposed. In reality, they are all observable, and so I have to discern that I am distinct from all of them. It is not merely my logic, but seeing this fact, the I sense is dependent upon consciousness. The real meaning of the I, with the immaculate recognition of I being self-evident, self-evident consciousness, whenever I use the word I mean that consciousness which apparently assumes various incidental forms. As a driver of a car says, I did 60 miles per hour, knowing that he did not in the same way, recognizing the self as akarta, I may still say, I said this or did that, but I know that I am not the agent, karta. There is clearly about the I here. There is clarity about the I here. Sankara introduces the next verse with some, however, to make it clear that these people are unlike those of the last pada of the previous verse, whose eye of understanding of Atma has opened by the Shastra Pramana.
Swamiji, this driver's car says I did 60 miles per hour now. The driver didn't do, the car did not.
Exactly, that is what. So even though you may use the same language, you may use, what he says is, you don't have to change the language. But in terms of understanding, you should be very clear. When you are all our activities also, I do this, go to office and all that, everywhere you must be very clear what you call the faculties and supported by the knowledge and information and the duty and what you call the job specification, everything are aligned. They are all one reality. In that, what you can do, what others can do, put together forms one reality. Whereas the I that is behind all the senses is the Atma, and it is not involved in that. So the Karta gets its blessing by I. Doesn't without Atma, even a mind cannot function, eyes cannot function, your intelligence cannot function, your memory cannot function. But they are all blessed by I. But I is the being. It is which is not involved. I am not the Karta. So that way, what happens? You become more objective. Even in the relative world, you become more. You don't call something goes wrong. You don't say I am a failure. Okay, that particular activity has failed. I have to improve upon it. At the same way, when you get some success, also you don't arrogate upon yourself that I have succeeded. Thank God, time and place, everything was in place. So the activity went off well. So both ways, you will have the humility as well as not the cushion against any faults or problems. So this understanding, in relatively also, it helps in terms of keeping you objective. And in Paramarthika, in absolute terms also, there is a reality. So it is not the conditioning. The difference between this and management is, management there can be a conditioning. You must be objective and all that. They will say Maslow's law of hierarchy, self-actualization. The self-actualization, if you really undergo the whole thing, what they say is that you must stick to the company's objectives. Only to that extent you must self-actualize yourself. Beyond that, if you start questioning, they will not. They are not part of the Maslow's law of hierarchy. Whereas here we are talking about absolute I, the absolute self-actualization is in terms of the reality. So this will stay with you forever in your life. And relatively also it gives you the cushion. This chitta samadhanam will be there. You will not be buffeted by what happens in your life, plus or minus. Everything you will take it in the right spirit and keep move on. You will not be having grudge from the past. You will not project too much into the future. Just keep doing what you need to do. Having understood this, you will do your work, you will be in the present all the time. Be objective, be alert, be without any pramada, without any procrastination. Just keep doing, because you are clear that this is what in the circumstance, what is appropriate to the given situation. I keep doing, moving. Okay, the all may be part of a plan. May have the company might have planned, or you yourself might have planned a career path and all that. But along the way, you have to make changes, because everything as planned will not, because that is adhishtam. Whereas what you can do is only the prayojanam part of it only you can take care, not the phalam part of it. Because phalam involves so many other factors and it will keep changing. What you wanted to achieve 10 years back, even though you might have achieved today, it may not have value for you, because the world has changed, you have changed. So even if you have achieved, still you may not enjoy it that much as you would have achieved, as you would have enjoyed 10 years back. So all those things, so that is the different, that is a phalam. Phalam means paludaya liyate, the phalam will keep changing. Okay, you need something to keep moving. But concentrate on the prayojanam, the satisfaction of doing whatever I need to do here and now properly. That gives a satisfaction that nobody can take it away from you in terms of reality, in terms of even in the relative world. So both ways it helps. That is what both they are trying to tell. Absolute terms, it helps you if you have understood the whole whatever you discussed till now. The reality now you are very clear that my reality is the Atma, the being, and everything else is only a duty or whatever I need to do appropriate to the given situation with my what do you call, even your body, mind, senses are what you call, they are also only upaya, and you as a person is only a role player. Even if you Krishna Kumar, Prashant and all are only role play. They are not because you have discovered sapasyati, you have discovered your reality, which is much more fulfilling, and it doesn't require any further fulfillment than just being the reality. So then you can look at your own the name as a role play, and accordingly, every person has got a appointed role in the family, in the business, in the office, outside society, everywhere, and play that role. Play to the hill, like what you have been always telling, like playing Amitabh Bachchan playing the role of a beggar. So that part of it, that gives lot of strength. The Vedanta understanding, that is why he says it's a human pursuit. It is not meant for only people who want to understand Vedanta. No, it is meant for a human pursuit, because this is the reality. You have to see that and then live that. As you progress more and more, every day do the pranayama, nidhyasana, keep looking at it again and again, with some other tricks also, time and again, you will get fully, what you call, the sense, living the learning will be there. It is not like what they say, prayer is one action, but prayerful life is living. The prayerful life is more important than just prayer, appointed time going and praying. The same way, living the learning is more important than just learning academic. This particular situation, because it is about you. It is not about some other object or some other subject matter. You are the subject matter. So that is what he is trying to tell. So even though we have assumed that people don't have it, that is why they look at it as amsa iva amsa, and how amsa iva amsa, what all happens? How are you born? What are all the karma? How do you move? That all he has explained. But at the back of it, he says it is based on avidya only, basic avidya, that you assume that you are separate from Bhagavan. That is the difference between Vishishtadvaita and Advaita. Visishtha Duda, Amsa, Iva, Amsa. They don't say Amsa, Iva, Amsa. They say you are Amsa. Bhagavan is there, you are Amsa only. So you got your reality is equal to that of reality of Bhagavan. So you have to achieve, you have to do a lot of puja and get, it must be better than other fellow. Even if you go to Vaikuntha, it must be nearer to Bhagavan compared to the other fellow. There again competition. So all those things are very real for them. You cannot even laugh at them. They will feel very annoyed. So that is very real. That here it is different. That's what he is trying to say. Shankara is trying to differentiate between the two. Yeah.
Today morning, Swamiji, I'll just take 2 minutes. We had gone to meet Chakadapuram Priva, so we had gone there. My brother-in-law's mama had come there with a book called Living a Life of Eternity, Bliss and Importance of Life. Written by Krishnamurti Shastrigal. He had sent that book over to Chakadapuram Priva to read it, and I had the opportunity to read the preface of the book. In that, he describes how a beggar who was begging at a signal became very rich. He bought a new car and had a car and driver to go in that car. And later, he did not know what to do and approached Krishnamurti Shastrigal in Sanskrit college asking him what he should do. So Krishnamurti Shastrigal introduced him to Bhagavad Gita and asked him to read Bhagavad Gita 1 page every day. That person read the Bhagavad Gita 1 page every day from the book that was given to him by Krishnamurti Shastrigal. When he gave it to him, it was 23 years. That boy whom he gave a beggar was 23 years. Now at the age of 57, this boy has come back, has rewritten the same book as Bhagavad Gita in his own, but named it as Living a Life of, prosperity, freedom, peace, and like this. And asked Krishnamurti Shastrigal in Sanskrit college to review and tell him that whatever he wrote does apply or not. So he has taken verses from Gita, written it there and explained the meaning of all of that. That one, Krishnamurti Shastrigal has sent it through Atimbe's mama to verify and say whether does it make sense or not. So the moment I read that preface and understood, the immediate thought that came to my mind, one was that Desha Kala was the Aparichanam that you talk about. Second thing is Amitabh Bachchan beggar example. So it was very nice that book was, it is still not available. It's going to be available sometime, but it made me eager to read that book. You describe it.
Yeah. We'll see whether it makes sense. We have to see that. Yeah.
Exactly.
Yajnavalkya tells Maitreyi, everything becomes dear to you because of the love of yourself alone.
Yeah, same one. We have discussed it.
Kamaya sarvam priyam bhavati. Brihadaranyaka Upanishad 2.5.
This is Brihadaranyaka Upanishad, the second chapter as well as in the fourth chapter. The same Maitreya Brahmanam. The Maitreya Brahmanam is appearing in both these chapters, second chapter and fourth chapter. It is we have discussed this. Time and again we have discussed this. The sense, see, Atmanastu Kamaya Sarvam, read that, we will know. Yeah.
And immediately follows with, the self is to be seen, heard of, reflected upon, and contemplated upon.
Yeah, that is what he says basically. At the end of it is, the self has to be understood. Understood meaning Atma Vare Drishtabhyaha. Drishtabhyaha meaning by what? By Shrotabhyaha, Mantabhyaha, Nididhyasitavhyaha. Shrotabhyaha means learn from the teacher, the Upadesa, and reflect on it in the sense, find out. But whatever you have been discussing, the reality, the Pramana Shabda, that you are Desakala Vastu Aparichinnam, that will, once you are having that understanding, there will be a lot of fallacies that is being thrown by the society, by your own daily life. You must see, if I am the Purnam being, why I am feeling this? Why I am not doing this properly? All those questions will keep coming. Every time you have to answer it by proper analysis, by taking the help of the Shastra, Acharya, or your own understanding. That is called Mananam. Sotabhyaha, Mantabhyaha. Nididhyasitavhyaha is having understood, consolidated understanding, you must be able to meditate upon it. You must own it up. Because like the case of the beggar, what happens, a person who becomes very rich, very overnight, you will still have the feeling of, suddenly, Swamiji used to give an example, like next day when he goes to some mela, by habit he will put his hand out, but he will have a lot of rings and golden rings and all that. People will be surprised. Why a fellow with golden rings and bangle should put out his hand for begging because he's used to. So the vasana. So that is what will happen, that the vasanas will be there. In spite of our understanding, we will still have the vasana, the viparita bhana, that how can I be full? How can I be Atma and Purnam? We cannot own it up. That is why you have to sit on meditation, just be and see for the time being. In spite of all that is happening through the day, every day, you do some 10-minute meditation, dhyana. On the basis of this understanding, say that I am just a being. Any thought that comes, I see. Any shabda, any sound I get, I just hear. I don't feel disturbed, I just be. So all this, just by being, you understand that this is how, whenever I get a happy moment in life, this is how I am. It is not because I achieved something, I am happy, and I am happy, and that happiness is undisturbed in a particular situation. So you think that you are happy because of that situation. Actually, you are a happy person. You take up something to achieve, then you achieve. At that time, the fulfillment comes from lack of that particular want with which we started. So the lack of that want is, for the timing, it is not there in your mind now because it's already fulfilled. So you think by fulfilling the want, you have become happy. Actually, you are happy. You take up a want and fulfill it. Take up a want and fulfill it. Take up a want and fulfill it. So the only fulfillment you enjoy is between one want and another want. So you think that because of fulfilling each want, you are getting, actually you are unnecessarily pulling up a want because you have not understood initially when you started the study. You are not understood that you are Desa Kala Vastu Aparichinnam, the being, the reality. Like even the reality of Paramatma, my reality is the same. Satchidananda Swarupam, which I have learned, which was not there in my horizon at all. But as I grew, I had picked up lot of learnings and lot of achievements, lot of things, and I thought that because of that only I am happy. I keep on, because by habit we have been doing that. Now, after all these years, now we have started looking back, and I find that my reality is the happy self. Everything else I do because of the various ragas and dveshas that I picked up over a period of time, because of some fancies which have become converted into desires, and I have been habitually using those desires. If I eat this, I feel nice. If I do this, I feel nice. So the habituated fulfilling desires has become part of my personality that I have been doing for so many years. So you think that fulfillment comes only with that. But now, with this understanding that I am basically a fulfilled person, these are all only playing the role. Okay, it's all because of various desires, the way in which I come into this society, everyone is doing the same thing, I have been doing that. Now you start doing things objectively. Okay, it has to be done because of the certain circumstances in which I am. Okay, I am in the family, I have to be part of the ritual. I am in the society, so I have to be part of this liberation. I am in the office, I have to be part of it. But do it all with a very alert thing that is all my duties. I have to be fulfilled to ensure that others are not disturbed. And because even if you don't have such a blasha, for fulfilling the needs of others, we once sync with the society, harmonize with the society, you have to do a lot of things. So, but do it with that conscious understanding, not for self-aggrandizement or self-fulfilling, because you are a fulfilled person. So, this way you must be able to meditate. Once you are able to do that, allow it to grow into you, then over a period of time it will settle down nicely. And you will not be, you will be more free, you will not have any agenda, you will not, even if something goes wrong, or you will still be able to accept it, you will not blame others. Like what I have been telling, no, that you will be empathetic to others, and you will be able to do kshama, like accommodation to others' mistakes. So kshama and dhamma and daya with reference to society, with reference to you, you will be a happy person, irrespective. Dosham and satyam and doing your duty all the time, prayojanam, will be your way of life for yourself. With reference to others, you will be able to accommodate them, you will be able to empathetic with them. Because they don't understand. Some of them may be like-minded people, will be able to understand. Others may still be chasing something else through you sometimes. So you have to play that role, can't help it. So this way your life changes. Life changes for a very more, like what Agyavalkya tells Maitreyi, that You will settle down with this interest. You will not be looking for what you call your love will not become attachment towards others. Atmanastu kamaya sarvam priyam bhavati. Only for getting some aggrandizement from others, you will not love others. You will love others because love is the reality. Love is oneness expressed. So that is how you look at love, not as attachment. That's what he's saying. Yeah.
Atma has to be seen, nishtavya, by you. How? Through the eye of wisdom, which has to be opened by a pramana. For that we require Shruti, and therefore Yajnavalkya says, Atma has to be listened to, Shrotavya. Once a person is adequately qualified, it is enough. If it is not the case, listening has to be followed by manana, reflection, and nididhyasana, contemplation.
यतन्तो योगिनश्चैनं पश्यन्त्यात्मन्यवस्थितं
पश्यन्तात्मनि अवस्थितं.
पश्यन्तात्मनि अवस्थितं यतन्तोऽप्यकृतात्मानो नैनं पश्यन्त्यचेतसः यतन्तः योगिनः च. And the yogis who are making effort, atmani in the buddhi, avastitam obtaining, enam this atma, pashyanti see, akritatmanaha those whose minds are not mature, achetasaha those who do not have viveka, yatantaha api even though making effort, enam na pashyanti do not see this atma. The yogis who are making effort see this self-obtaining in the buddhi. Those whose minds are not mature and who do not have viveka do not see this Atman even if they are making effort. The word yoginaha used here implies that their minds have been made tranquil and receptive by proper efforts. Thus, they are people of effort, yatantaha. By a life of contemplation, nididhyasana, they see. Swamiji, suppose I think, see, the self-obtaining, the Buddha, sometimes it strikes us. It's not always, but sometimes, we feel when we do something, we get angry, or sometimes we do some dvesha, all that. Then you feel, I'm Purna, why am I going through all this? Then sometimes it's my vasana, my karma, that even though I try not to think like this, it keeps coming. Okay, then that is whose minds are not mature and who do not have viveka.
Basically what it means is, once you assume that you are the karta, guilt and hurt are inevitable.
Okay.
Whether you are doing with all the good intentions or sometimes with anger or whatever it is, once you identify yourself as a karta, hurt and guilt are inevitable. Whereas, even while doing, if you don't have that identification, you are very much rooted in your reality, Atma, in the sense, even in a very growing manner. Clear that this is my understanding, this is the role I am playing. As long as you do that, the guilt and hurt will not affect you. Because guilt and hurt will not happen. Because only when you identify totally, guilt and hurt is inevitable if you are a karta or a bhokta. That identification will ensure that there is no guilt and hurt. So that is what, so you cannot stop guilt and hurt, but you can stop your identification with the karta and bhokta situation. That is precisely what we have to do. So, with this understanding, we are armed with our reality. So, there is a reality which is propelling, which is giving satta and spurti and even the creative intelligence to all my kartrutvam, bhoktrutvam, all my roles and all that. They are all there only because of the blessing of the Chaitanya Swarupa. That is the, what you call, that is the overall understanding. But at your level, you are a Chaitanya Swarupa. So, and these are all only role play. Whatever I do, even as Gayatri, only a role play. So, there can be plus and minus. If you got all plus and minus, you will take it as plus and minus, but you will not feel hurt and guilt. So, that is precisely what is important. So, it can happen in spite of your Atma Jnanam will not guarantee that you will do everything properly.
Yes.
Because that is a part of the This is Kartrutvam and Bhaktritvam, it involves so many other factors. So many, the whole thing, the Niyati and Niyanta, the order of reality, various orders are there. They are all still applicable. They are all still applicable. It is part of the Maya Prakriti, which we have discussed. So that will have its own roles to play, and everyone else is involved in that. There can be plus and minus, sometimes with your knowledge, without your knowledge also. Even if you are knowledgeable, you want to do something good, you may still do something bad. These things are very much part, because it is Maya Shakti, it is continuously changing. Whatever is good for the world today will not be good tomorrow. So all those things keep on changing. It's how it is. Because actually this is how it is, because the changing can never give you satisfaction, because you are changeless. So even Ishvara cannot satisfy you 100%. Ishvara presides over the whole laws. Ishvara is what? Ishvara is the sum total of Samagram Jnanam, we have told. All Vibhutis, all Shakti, all Dairyam, all Lakshmi and all that. So because of the Samagram situation, it is in the domain of Ishvara, everything is perfect. But not in your domain. You are only, that much only you know. Whereas in terms of reality understanding, the reality of Ishvara as well as the reality of you is the same. Desakala Vastu Aparichinnam. There cannot be anything. You will feel one with, at all times you will feel one, the harmony with Ishvara, harmony with the total. Whereas as a role player, will still have faults. Fault lines will still be there. But by not identifying, you will not feel guilty or hurt. So our idea is what? We don't want to be guilty or hurt. So, but you cannot stop that guilt or hurt as long as you are identifying with the Karta Bhakta situation. That identifying is the wrong identity, you have understood now. Karta and Bhakta is me, but I am not Karta Bhakta, my reality. That is precisely what Yajnavalkya has taught Maitreyi now. So, because of that, you will have some problems in terms of day-to-day happenings and all. The plus minus will be there, but you will not feel hurt and guilt. You will not allow it to disturb you. Because when essentially you know you are a Purnam being, you are aligned with Ishvara. That is your reality. And whatever happens, okay. If something didn't go well, you tell Samarpanam Bhagavan. Think that okay, this has not happened well, let me do it better tomorrow. Even if you have not done, you know something you can do better tomorrow, you can do it. If somebody else has done it also, this wisdom he has done it, has created some problem for me. Okay, then do a prayer and Samarpanam and Bhagavan. Either way. So that is how we have to proceed. Since nothing changes just because you have understood. Yeah, very important.
1 minute, Swamiji.
Actually, Swamiji, you answered my very, very long doubt which I have. We have one person in our company, whenever we go for agreement signature, he will always procrastinate to the last day and then sign. I always used to get irritated with him because I have to go like 22 times to...
Yeah, you told many.
You told him.
So today, thank you, really thank you, Swamiji. So I will do Samarpanam to Swami before I go, that okay, today you have given me like this today, it has to happen like this. Tomorrow give me a better day like that, and I will go.
That's a way. Because that's the reality also. Because that's what they sense. It's all the whole thing. If you look at it, the whole thing is the whole Srishti. All whatever you are going through is only a prakriya. A prakriya meaning an upaya for you to draw your attention to reality. So that no point in time you get carried away that just because everything is going on well, that is the reality. So time and again Bhagavan gives you shock so that you understand it is all mithya.
Oh, okay.
So that you get rooted to your reality. Your reality here and now as the being is the only thing reality of Ishvara as well as you, as well as the Jagat. But since we didn't know, we are giving more importance to, and we wanted to look for a reality where it doesn't exist. That is what the Vairagyam which he talked about, no Swamiji. You lost something inside and you are looking for it outside. So reality is inside, but you are looking for it outside because you have not understood. There is darkness inside, ignorance. So instead of lighting it up, Your outside is lighted, so go and look for it outside. So, இருக்கும் இடத்தை விட்டு இல்லாத இடம் தேடி எங்கெங்கேயோ போகின்றாயே ஞானத்தங்கமே ஒரு பாட்டு இருக்கு இல்லையா? Same thing. Here only there is fulfillment, not here. There it will keep telling you, reminding you that look, seek your fulfillment inside. Antarmukhi bhava. That is how the whole design is. The design of the Srishti is like that. So you cannot defeat it.
But Swamiji, sometimes we feel positive about something before we go.
Yeah,
we
that
the
is
person
okay,
and go,
fine.
and it happens, right?
Then you must thank God doubly. Thank God I've been in the right place at the right time. That's all. Fortunately, I have aligned with Ishvara. Ishvara's niyati is like that. It so happened that I also got aligned. So that is why everything went out well. That's all. Nimitta matram bhava savyesachi.
So whenever you feel negative, take it that you are not aligned with Ishvara.
Jiva
Yeah,
something.
let's go.
Jiva Srishti versus Ishvara Srishti is something. You cannot all the time align also. It's not possible. Bhagavan also doesn't expect you. But when it happens, that is why the Keno Upanishad, that finally Indra, Agni and all that, they thought they have won the war over the Asuras. And Bhagavan taught them a lesson. In the Upanishad it is coming. It is not because of your merits, it is because of the niyati that happened.
Okay.
Don't arrogate upon yourself. Then Uma comes and teaches them what is the reality. So even at the Devata level it can happen. They can make mistakes.
I see.
Yeah. Vidya, finally, for Brahma Vidya is what is important, because that is common for all. Because as it is, when we look at that reality, there is a Kala Vastu Aparichinnam, there cannot be a second reality. There can be only one reality. Ishvara, you, the whole world is sustained, born off, sustained and resolved into only one reality, that is, there is a Kala Vastu Aparichinnam, the being. The being is so powerful, like as I have always been telling, Anuronaniyan. Sense smaller than the atom, smaller than the nucleus, and smaller than everything. You reduce it like that, the being is the smallest, because there is no object, no dimension, dimensionless being. When it manifests, Jagat. It is only a manifestation. And everything will be changing because there is no thing, the being is manifesting. So how can there be any sense into that? It can only keep appearing as changes, as if something is there. Nothing is there, only the being is there. Outside, whatever you say, so naturally when you deal with it, when you transact with it, if you have this understanding, you will never be disappointed. Or you will never be elated, you will not hit the ceiling. If something goes right, it's all akasmat only. So that part of it, that will give you a lot of question. So you will never feel hurt or guilt. Just keep doing, that's all. Shastra itself says, Jadaval lokam achare. Just let the phenomenal things happen phenomenally. Natural things happen naturally. Just keep doing. Even the vibhuti, even if you are talent, somebody is talented as a mechanic engineer, somebody as an IT, this is all part of the design. So you go and do whatever you know, you contribute. And keep doing. Sometimes it may work out okay. Sometimes not. Sometimes for some people it may work out okay. They may grow. So they must only be more alert. They should not get carried away just because they are doing well. That everything is suddenly they will be pulled down. What goes up always comes down. So people who are getting plus and minus. There is one. I don't know whether you have read that. One Mario Puzo's novel, Fools Die, is there. There, the fellow who is getting 50% plus and 50% minus is successful. Not the fellow who does always successful. Because he understands the realities. So that is how it's also when plus and minus happen equally, then you must feel blessed. Because it will keep telling you what is the reality. You will not get carried away. And you will not get pulled down by the failures also. So-called failures. So both ways it will utilize. And it will give you such nidhanam, that what you call chitta samadhanam will be there. There will be a Ishvara upasana will be there. There will be some surrender bhavana will be there. And that you will sleep well, and then you will be able to study, you will look for the higher reality, understand and own it up. So you can grow, mature, become more mature and all. It's all possible. Yeah.
Actually, Swamiji, when I recommend some people for a job, Many times I have seen many people, they only look at mark sheet and what is the mark that the person has got, whether 96%, 95%. Of late, in the interviews that I take for people, Swamiji, I find people who have had just 60% in 12th or 70% in 12th still have a better reasoning perspective from a balance between what is asked and what they are answering. They have a balance in answering compared to the person who is 96%. And he explains something, but it is not understandable to common man. He will use a very fluffy, flary words, but you will not understand. And then I was forced to reject one guy like this who scored 96%, but he did not know basic rules of accounting. So sometimes we are also put in such type of situations where I know you are talking it from the deepest perspective.
No. Basically, there again, there may be people who are academically minded but not practical, and also there can be people who have just memorized, not understood. Both are important. Some people who memorize do well in the exams, but they may not have understood the subject matter. So, but when it comes to a job and all that, understanding is more important. So there again, the companies have different ways to measure, satisfy that objective, the aptitude test and all that. So that's all there. It's all there. That is there even in the Laukika, even in our day-to-day activities. Understanding is more important than just memorizing and getting there. Once you go to a higher level, you may find it difficult and all that. So understanding, I always say, understanding any subject matter is more important than just academically accumulating information and knowledge. Accumulation of information and knowledge, it all depends on memory and all that. Memory may fail you, but learning will never fail you. So learning is very important. Learning is understanding. In this particular case, it is learning and understanding alone is important. Whereas in even in other Laukika, Vaidika activities also, and understanding is more important than just accumulating information and knowledge. It's very accumulation of information and knowledge is required to some extent in the external world. But there again, understanding plays a great role in life, even in office and all. But here, understanding is what is more important rather than accumulating various texts and all that. Information, chanting, lot of words people know, but they don't look at this, the basics. That is why I keep telling, you must look at the whole thing, what you have learned from the second chapter onwards. What is it? Whether we are able to honor that reality which you are talking. Then all this becomes easy. Then you have to go through the whole thing after we finish the 18th chapter. You keep going through again and again. And take up some small texts, Prakarana Granthas, which will reinforce this understanding. We'll do that. Yeah.
The word yoginaha used here implies that their minds have been made tranquil and receptive by proper efforts. Thus, they are people of effort, yatantaha. By a life of contemplation, nididhyasana, they see. What is the meaning of the locative case of Atma in the word Atmani here? It cannot mean in Atma because everything is located in Atma. Here it means in the Buddhi. These yogis recognize the Atma obtaining in the intellect. It is not that they see Atma in the intellect, but rather they recognize directly, I am the consciousness obtaining in the intellect. Further, this consciousness is recognized as identical with Satyam, Jnanam, Anantam, Brahma, not something endowed with the attributes of the body, mind, sense complex, all of which are superimposed upon Atma.
Yeah, basically, see what is happening is, it is once you initially you have this understanding of the I in the associated body, mind, sense complex and ego and all those things will be there. But once you have understood and negated, these are all there, but they are not Atma. Then once that negation itself will leave you with Atma. Atma separately you don't have to know because Desakala Vastu Aparichinam cannot be known. It can just be only. But just being, you need to negate what you are not. That is what we are doing by body, mind, sense complex is only an upaya, I have only an instrument in my hands. Once I am very clear about that, then that I, the being, is automatically Atma. There you don't have to know, but you have to be. That is what he is saying. Here the Atma, because the yogi has already negated the body, mind, sense complex identification, he remains as Atma in the intellect also. That's what he is trying to say.
An indirect knowledge of Brahman, the cause of the universe, can be conceived of, but there is no possibility of having indirect knowledge of Atma because it is always directly experienced. We cannot even really have indirect knowledge of what is said about Atma in the Shastra. We can only say that we do not recognize the truth of what it says. One thing that we can all appreciate is that it is always self evident and everything else becomes evident to the self.
So there is the most important thing which Swamiji always used to say. It is, you don't have to know it, you are self-evident. So everything else is evident to the self.
Yes,
everything
yes.
else you have to know because it's evident to the self. Whereas as far as self is concerned, self is self-evident. Here and now, once you negate what you are not, you just remain as be, as self. You don't have to know anything further on that. It is not knowable, you need not know it because it is you. That is what we have to understand.
Both direct and indirect knowledge of anything are illumined by Atma. You are the one who lights up both the cognition arising from perception and one born of inference and so on. Whether the object is directly or indirectly known by you, you light up the relevant thought form. This self-evident Atma that illumines everything has to be recognized as Param Brahma. Most seekers must make effort for Nishtha in this knowledge. That is why Yajnavalkya mentions all the three, Shravana, Manana and Nididhyasana, as the means to seeing the Atma. Only a very few require just Shravana, that is only the exposure to the Pramana. This was the case for Shvetaketu in the Chandogya Upanishad. Though he was shown the truth through the statement Tat Tattvamasi, that thou art, 9 times by his father, that alone was adequate for him to gain the knowledge. Even the 6 students of Prashnopanishad understood immediately what their teacher Pippalada told them. Similarly, when Narada went to Sanat Kumara, he understood the Brahma Vidya, Bhuma Vidya, the knowledge that I am Brahman, immediately on being taught. All these students recognized this immediately. But then we also see people being described in the Shastra as doing meditation, upasana, and practicing austerities, tapas. Those of the first group are the most highly qualified, Uttama Adhigaris, and the others are simply qualified Adhigaris. They must make effort. Mere effort is not enough, however. A certain type of mind is required for those efforts to be meaningful. Though one may make all the prescribed efforts, one has to gather the capacity to inquire properly. That itself is a discipline. Further, one must have withdrawn from a life of improper activities. By a life of discipline, gaining a mastery over the senses, the other organs, and the mind, one's pursuit is not hindered by these. Bhagavan says, even though they make effort, they do not see. Why? Because they are Akritatmanaha, not gained by Antakarana Shuddhi through a life of Karma Yoga, and are Achetasaha, lacking in Viveka. Achetasaha literally means those who do not have a Chetas, mind. But there cannot be anyone who does not have a mind. Therefore, Shankara glosses this word as Avivekinaha, those lacking in Viveka, discrimination. Since Vedanta works in some cases and not in others, we have to understand that something more than Pramana is required as a prerequisite. As in seeing, mere eyes are not enough, but eyes that are free from defects are required. Then the eyes are a Pramana. Since there is only one Atma, there is no possibility of Atma being different in the vision of Vedanta. If Vedanta is a means of knowledge, whoever listens should see the same Sat Chit Ananda Atma. But it does not happen that way. Therefore, if one person sees this, another does not, and another does not, and if Vedanta is looked upon as a Pramana, then the problem lies with the one who wants to understand. If Vedanta is not looked upon as a Pramana, it becomes a mystical experience. Once it is a Pramana, Vedanta should reveal the nature of the immediately available Atma, because the samsara that this knowledge is supposed to resolve is also immediately available, aparoksha. If I have committed a mistake, that is aparoksha. The correction of the mistake must also be aparoksha.
Yeah, basically the aparoksha samsari has to become aparoksha samsari. See, both ways it is up. We don't need any further experience. See, people look for experience. Not you are already experiencing. In all your experiences, what is definitely there is I. Now, this I is not properly understood. Once it is properly understood, the aparoksha samsari becomes automatically aparoksha samsari. So immediate it is. So it's all happening to you. The experience, you don't have to experience Atma separately. You are already experiencing. Only that the correction has to happen. So that Paroksha Samsari, once the correction happens, it becomes automatically a Paroksha Samsari. Very important. That is the one advantage also. As I was always telling, it is the sense you don't have to do any separate Phala Vyapti. Having, okay, you have done all the vrittis and all this knowledge you have acquired, Shastra and all that. Now you have to look for it separately through, like for example, even if you there is a thing, okay, there is some vritti is there, like something like a rope is there, or can be snake and all that. No, thereafter by lighting you understand, oh, it's not snake. But there again, for you to understand that it is rope, you have to clearly see. So rope jnanam has to happen as a phala vyakti separately. Then only there will be samadhanam for you. Whereas in this particular case, in our understanding that that I am not the body mind senses. Body mind senses are operating in my presence. Once that negation happens, body mind senses are not me. Automatically I is already there. For I, you don't ask whether I have lost my body mind senses, whether I am there or not. I don't have to ask anybody. I am very much there. But body mind senses identification is stopped. So automatically your phalam is purnam. Aparoksha samsari you become straight away. I am there, but body mind senses are my vibhutis, my upakaranam, my instrument, upaya, for me to transact with the world, and also for me to understand that they are all my vibhutis. My presence, you can see how when we are autonomy, as I was telling you, the miracle that is autonomy, you can understand it as Ishvara Vibhuti. You can easily understand because it's all happening automatically. It's all happening without your interfering with it. So that is why if you interfere only, it will create problem. The Trich Pratyaya I have told you, you can only mess up. Whereas in Bhagavan's thing, everything is going nicely. So all those things will fall in place. Automatically it will all fall in place. It will not create any disharmony in you by this understanding.
So that is aparoksha samsari becomes
Aparoksha samsari becomes aparoksha samsari.
asamsari.
Either way you are there, very much there.
Samsari is there. So the samsaritvam goes.
Goes, exactly. Samsara will remain. See, samsara means what? Samyak sarati, meaning all the time moving. That will continue. But your identification with the samsara only makes you a samsari. You want everything perfect all the time, unchanging. How can the changing can give you unchanging? It is a totally unreasonable expectation. That you have to understand, that's all. You have to understand my expectations have been unreasonable. Once you understand, automatically your expectations, the threshold will come down. You will be able to take the rough with the smooth. All that will settle down nicely over a period of time. Then give you chitta samadhanam. Then will give you that leisure. Then that what you call the alignment will be there, thought, word and deed. That itself will make you that relative tranquil. The relative tranquility will help you to understand that absolute tranquility is my nature. So that is how it is. That is the qualification which he is talking about. The Manda Buddhi or Aviveki. Why? Because he is still not convinced about the what exactly is what he is looking for. He is looking for still something outside. Whereas what is there is only inside. So that clarity has to grow. The growing clarity with your understanding of the subject matter, you will be able to become a yogi from being a aviveki. That's what he's trying to say. So people who are in the pursuit, they will have to grow. All sorts of adhikaris will be there. Manda adhikari, Uttama adhikari, Adama adhikari, all will be there. But nobody has to feel disheartened. You have to grow. That's what he says.
Atma cannot be known by perception or inference because, being yourself, it cannot be objectified. The only pramana that will work is Shabda. Here, the statements like Tat Tvamasi or Lakshana Vakyas, and they produce immediate knowledge. They are similar to the statements such as This is the Devadatta or You are the 10th man, which produce immediate knowledge, Aparoksha Jnana. If that recognition is not immediate, and if you do not understand that Vedanta is a pramana, you will conclude that Atma has to be experienced. Those who know the Shastra say that Vedanta is a pramana, but very few know how to handle it. As a result, there is a tendency to conclude that one has to experience something and that Vedanta is the theory which is the basis for that experience. Then Vedanta ceases to be a pramana as far as Atma is concerned. If Vedanta does not give you immediate knowledge of the self-evident Atma, which is always available and which is the basis for every experience, then Vedanta is not a pramana for Atma. Since some people gain the knowledge and others do not, in spite of being exposed to the pramana, that is Vedanta, it is clear that some other factor is necessary. Instead of taking into consideration the qualification of the student, the idea of experience was conceived of by some people. This problem is compounded by the use of the word Anubhava in the Shastra, typically translated as experience. This word, however, is used by the Shastra in the sense of seeing, darshana.
Anubhava, Anu means very closely. Bhava means reality. So that is how you have to translate. Anubhava means seeing closely the reality, not as an experience. Anubhava means generally people think it is an experience. You have to get an Atma experience. Suddenly some light should come. You are sitting in meditation, but no light will come. Swamiji will say. So that is why you have to not translate Anubhava as experience. Seeing it closely, darshana. That is why it's called seeing it closely. Is called Anubhava means what? Bhava means bhu sattayam. What is reality? Bhava comes from the Sanskrit word root bhu. Bhu sattayam meaning it is the first dhatu in Panini. Because bhu sattayam itself is a Mangala word. That's how so bhu sattayam meaning reality. What is available as real. So that has to be seen closely. It is called Anubhava. That is what we get in the second chapter. The Nasato vidyate bhavaha, na bhavo vidyate sataha. The bhavaha, that bhava is reality. So that is what it means, Anubhava. Okay.
The problem of Anubhava arose long ago when it was suggested that the study of Shastra had to be followed by a special otherworldly cognition, Laukika Pratyaksha. But this was much better thought out than the modern contention that first you must get the theory of Atma from the Shastra and then through practice experience it. This problem of not seeing the nature of Atma can either lead you to the conclusion that Atma is yet to be experienced or that you should look into your qualifications. Since moksha is in the form of knowledge, there are definitely requirements for it. Fulfilling those requirements is the nature of the effort that is made here. The emphasis is on purity of mind, Antakarana Suddhi, which is accomplished by a life of Karma Yoga and the cultivation of values. The most important thing here is inquiry. All false values and improper attitudes are due to lack of understanding of certain relative truths. It is therefore important to continue to listen to the Shastra while living a life of Karma Yoga. Yogis who are referred to here then can be either those who are contemplating or those who are living a life of Karma Yoga. Whatever is required, Karma Yoga or a simple life of contemplation, they do that. They will certainly see. The next 4 verses show that Atma is the self of all, Sarvatma, and the basis of all transactions. With these 4 verses, the Vibhutis, glories of Bhagavan are briefly told.
Shant.
Yeah. Verse 12. Sarvat Matva of Ishvara. यदादित्यगतं तेजो जगद्भासयते किलं यश्चन्द्रमसि यच्चाग्नौ तत्तेजो विधिमामकम्. Yap Tejaha, that brilliance which Aditya Gadam obtains in the sun, Akilam Jagat, the entire world, Bhashayate illumines, Yet Chandramasi, that which is in the moon, Yet Cha Abnau, and that which is in the fire. Tat Tejaha, that brilliance, Mamakam belongs to me, Vidhi, may you know. May you know that the brilliance that obtains in the sun and illumines the entire world, that which is in the moon and which is in the fire, belongs to me. As the all-illumining light, the word Yat stands for that end. Padam.
Padam means no. Padam, Paramapadam, that way, yeah.
Padam, to be reached, which is Atma. Though it illumines everything, it cannot be illumined by Aditya, the sun, Agni, fire, etc. All these various sources of light do not illumine the one who illumines everything. Mamaka means that which belongs to me. Any glory anywhere is Bhagavan's glory. A few of them, the basics of our creation, are quickly and beautifully presented here. The brilliant status that is in the sun, which lights up the entire creation, Bhagavan says is mine. And also the brilliance in the moon, yet Chandramasi, and in fire Agno, the brilliance of all these luminaries, because of which we see all things belongs to Bhagavan. This can be taken in a twofold way. The light that you see in the sun is the light of Parameshwara, because the sun itself is Parameshwara, as are the moon and fire. Each one, according to its upadhi, manifests the glory of Parameshwara, that which, because of which the sun and fire emit heat and light, and the moon is cool and reflects light, is Bhagavan. These words, Aditya, Chandramas, and Agni, can also be taken to refer to the presiding deities of the sun, moon, and fire. The consciousness manifest in the deities called Aditya, Chandramas, and Agni, because of which each one is capable of its own unique function, is not separate from Bhagavan. Here a question could be raised. If consciousness is all pervasive, then it expresses equally in every upadhi. Why then the special mention of Aditya and so on? It is because they are luminous, endowed with brilliance, and are capable of illumining other objects with that brilliance. This is because they have sattva adikya, predominance of the sattva guna. They have more knowledge and happiness than human beings because of their high degree of sattva guna. In the deities of the sun, moon, and fire, the glory that we see is Bhagavan. Or you can go one step further and see Ishvara from the standpoint of these phenomena. His form is the sun, moon, fire, etc., and their beliefs.
Yeah, see, basically the gradation, in the vibhutis there are gradation and all that, some deities are praised and all that. It's all basically, either you can say they are the modification of the Prakriti guna, Sattva guna, Raja guna, Tama guna. Some are having more sattvas, depending on the whole model of guna prakriya, guna upadhi prakriya, or in terms of karma prakriya, like they might have exalted punya, because of that Indra is Indra, Chandra is Chandra, like that. So, these are all models only. And the Vibhuti also is described in the same fashion, on the basis of the, what you call, the differentiation in terms of upadhi. So, but essentially what it means is, the entire thing is the glory of the Paramatma, the glory of the Atma, the changeless being, is what is manifested as various upadhis, and the glory is also, whether it is moon or Indra, Chandra, whatever it is, everything is the glory of the same Desha Kala Vastu Aparichinna, the being, the Atma, the Paramatma. That is, and how the glory is described as Ishvara. Sarvatmatvam means what? The same Atma is there in various Bhuti Sariras. That is Indra, Chandra, Aditya, whatever you call it. The same Atma. Sarvatma meaning Sarvam. Actually, how Atma is the being, then Sarvam is what? Sarvam is only Kalpana. That is why even our own yugas are called Kalpas. Svetavaraha Kalpa. We are called Svetavaraha Kalpa, right? In our Sankalpa.
Yes.
Kalpa means what? Kalpana.
Okay.
It's only an imagination.
Be.
but the reality is the one. All are appearing. It is the vibhuti of the Paramatma. That is the vibhuti. Actually, this is a vibhuti. Now, what I am going to talk about the next 3 verses are the vibhutis. In the sense, how various skills and how your tejas, how your sattva guna are manifested in various forms. That is what Bhagavan is telling. This is how it is. Aditya also is me. My brilliance only is Aditya. Like that he is telling. And if you understand thoroughly, you can also say it's the brilliance of the being. There's a being only is manifesting like that. So you must be able to feel one with them. Whenever you are doing the Gayatri also, you must be able to say that Savituhu Varenyam Vargo Devasya Dhimahi. The brilliance, the being which makes the sun brilliant is the one which makes my mind also brilliant. And also let it make all others people also brilliant. So the same reality is seen through sun as well as through me and through others also. So that is, so it all helps in terms of upasana, in terms of looking at the reality through the various prakriti modifications. Both ways. It all depends on the, when you are doing it as upasana, you can do it as upasana, as surrender. At that time also, you will be, because you are doing the upasana, there will be a prayajanam, there will be a prayer. In the sense of that mind will be more connected to Ishvara. So that's also fine. But if your understanding is there, then you will feel one all the time. So when you go out into the world also, that oneness will carry with you. So you will not get flustered by situations. So it all depends on at what level of growth you are. So we have to be examining ourselves, look at this all as upaya by which we can get that Ishvara Kripa, get that Chitta Samadhanam. Yeah.
Before we read Swamiji, you know, ettat bhasayate suryo na shashanko na pavagaha
Tadyatva na nivartante
taddama paramam maman. Same thing.
Same thing. Now he is going to exclusively talk about the glories of the various. He is going to do. It's only a vibhutis he is explaining. That is why he has said Sarvatmatva Vishwara.
In Surya Namaskara, we say Surya Narayana, right? Completely. But it's actually not Narayana, it's all Parameshwara, right?
No, distinction.
Everything one is the same. There is no difference between that. They don't like the word Ishvara. Because Ishvara means associated with Shiva. So actually Ishvara is a common word. As far as Gita is concerned, Ishvara is the only thing. So Vishnu Sahasranama will be Narayana like that. But everything is Narayana Narayana. To really analyze the whole Sanskrit etymology, Ishvara and Narayana, no difference. Absolutely.
Actually, some time back, I saw in the shorts in the video, WhatsApp, Sringeri Sannidhanam had made the people like Harihara, and like Ramajaya Mari, they just made
Hari and Hara, that's all. Both are together only.
They are trying to create that feeling that both are the same. And
basically, Advaita Vedanta includes everyone. Like it doesn't differentiate between Saivites and Vaishnavites. Veda Vedanta is a reality. It's a reality understanding. Whereas once you get into this Shaiva, Vaishnava, Vaishnava and all that, then there is it's all unnecessary fragmentation. So no, you are propitiating Ishvara, and there again you are creating fragmentation, which doesn't help anybody. What to do now? Whom to tell all that? We have to only concentrate on our understanding.
Verse 13.
Yeah.
Kama Vishyaja Bhutani Dharayamyaham Mojasa Pushpami Chaudasi Sarva Somo Bhutva Rasatmakaha Cha and Gam Avishya having entered Ojasa with strength, Bhutani the beings, Aham Dharayami I sustain, Rasatmakaha that which is in the form of their essence, Somaha the Soma, Bhutva having become, Sarvaha all, Oshadi the vegetation, Ushnamicha and I nourish. Having entered the earth, I sustain the beings with strength and I nourish all the vegetation, having become Soma in the form of their essence.
Swamiji, you stop here, Swamiji.
Yeah, we'll stop. Here, you will finish this?
Because
We'll just read that.
Oh, this
today Chandragrahanam.
Oh, okay. You have got a lot of activities.
You have to meet early.
Yeah. So we have to start with having entered there. Like
Yeah,
that.
verse 13. We'll do it.
We have written this in another verse also. While reading this Rings a bell somewhere. Anyways.
Yeah, I will do that. Om.
Om
Om.
Purnamada Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnamevavasishyate Om Shanti 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 Sri Guru Hari Om Sri Guru Bhyo Namaha Hari Om.
Swamiji, this thing